someone who should have the attention of everyone in this room because for too long, the people of the 1st Congressional District of Wisconsin have been misrepresented in Congress. Paul Ryan's dangerous plan to end Medicare has come to define the Republican agenda and inform what Scott Walker is doing to complement his assault on the working class. Ryan has grown in stature in his party, and now his immoral budget has become a kind of backwards gospel. Praised by Wall Street and corporal special interests, but rightly denounced by moral advocates and those who advocate for seniors, for the sick, and for the middle class. We have a real chance in this next election, not just merely to defeat Paul Ryan, but to send a message that this is not how we do business in America anymore. I've known Rob Zerban for a little while, and let me tell you what I know: he is more than capable of defeating Paul Ryan and sending him into that job that I know he so surely wants, and that is, I think Paul Ryan would make a great lobbyist for big oil, big tobacco, or big healthcare companies. Rob's a self-made businessman. He actually knows what it's like to work in the private sector, unlike Paul Ryan. He knows what it's like to sign the front and the back of a paycheck. He understands what it means to create good working conditions for the people that work for you. The 1st Congressional District is a Democratic district. It's going to be a Democratic year, and I have every confidence that Rob Zerban will be the next member of Congress from Wisconsin. Before we bring him on stage, we actually really do this time have a short video to show of Rob Zerban. Welcome to the stage, the next Congressman from the 1st Congressional District of Wisconsin, Rob Zerban!
There are so many people that I need to thank, and I'd like to start with everybody that's here today, sitting out here in the audience, because without you cheeseheads and thugs, it just ain't a party. I am Rob Zerban, and I'd like to tell the people of the great state of Wisconsin, and particularly the people of the 1st Congressional District, a few simple things. First, if you elect me to Congress, I will never vote to privatize Medicare. Privatizing Medicare essentially eliminates it, and it would give more tax cuts and tax breaks to the wealthiest Americans. If you elect me to Congress, I will never cut a deal privatizing Social Security so that Wall Street can gamble away your retirement savings. If you elect me, I will never try to convince you that a healthcare coupon, redeemable in a private insurance corporation, is a plan that has your best interest in mind. If you elect me, I will not look you in the eye and tell you I'm cutting the deficit while sliding tax breaks under the table to millionaires and billionaires, big oil, and big industries. If you elect me, I won't lose my common sense when I get to the U.S. Congress. I won't forget where I came from. And I certainly would not forget the hard-working people who sent me there to represent them. You know, what the Republicans are pushing here in Wisconsin and now in Washington, D.C. with their current budget proposal It just doesn't make sense. The Republicans keep saying that the public's outrage at the town hall meetings, the challenges from the critics, even the recent upset in upstate New York, are all due to a messaging problem. They're saying that we just don't understand what it is they're trying to do. Well, I've got news for them. We understand what they're saying, and nobody's buying it. We'll do everything in our power to reject their cynical, destructive, and misguided plans to take more away from the middle class to give more to the super rich. If you elect me to the Congress, I will do everything I can to ensure that Medicare is there now and in the future. I will work hard to find solutions to the problems that we are facing right now. Solutions that don't gut our social safety nets. I'm Rob Zerban. I live in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and I know that we deserve a whole lot better. We have an elected official in my district, the 1st Congressional District, House Buddy Chair Paul Ryan. And we all know he is somebody who just doesn't get it. I'm here because I want to represent the people of Wisconsin. Not the big oil, not the big private insurance corporations, and not the big investors on Wall Street. I want to focus on creating jobs. I want to find ways to strengthen programs like Medicare. I want to find alternative, renewable resources to help fuel the economy and our growth. I want to thoughtfully address our budget concerns in a way that doesn't undercut the middle class while giving giant corporations a free pass. I want to work with representatives, Republicans and Democrats, who understand and care about the everyday realities and struggles of regular people and not just the super rich. We are all in this together, rich and poor, young people just starting their careers, seniors ready to retire, workers in the public sector and the private sector, business owners, and the hardworking people who enable these great businesses to succeed. We have all got to do our part because we all have a vested interest in America's success. I grew up in downstate Illinois, the youngest of 3 children, thank you, raised by a single mom, and my mother worked very hard, and as hard as she worked, she didn't make a whole lot of money. But we were lucky. I had free milk at school, and I ate government cheese at home. We all had to pitch in to make things work, and they did. I got my first job working at a family restaurant in high school. And it wasn't long before I was actually making more money than my mother made. I was accepted to the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. It's also known as the CIA. Perseverance and determination helped me to graduate from that prestigious university, but I could not have done it if it hadn't been with the help of Stafford loans and Pell Grants. After my stint in the CIA, I went to work in hotels and restaurants around the country, and I actually worked for a cruise line. When I moved to Chicago, I started 2 food service companies, and when I was building those businesses, I made a decision. I made a decision to provide excellent health care benefits to my employees. Because I did so because it was the right thing to do. I subsidized our health insurance by 75%. And 90% of my employees took advantage of that plan. I made it affordable because it was the right thing to do. My success was my employees' success, and their success was mine. In business, in our communities, and in this great nation as a whole, we must remember that we are all in this together, and together we must fight to protect Medicare because it is the right thing to do. My friends, I've had a wonderful opportunity. I've had the chance to live the American dream. What I could not have had it not been for the hard work, determination, and a safety net that kept me from going to bed hungry every night. And that idea, that promise that is the American dream, that set of values is alarmingly absent in today's Republican Party. And to see that, you need to look no further than my opponent, who time and time again has put the interests of wealthy campaign contributors before his constituents back home. My opponent not only endorses the plan to end Medicare, he wrote the plan to end Medicare. And it is the same plan that just last week was resoundingly rejected in New York's 26th Congressional District in a special election. Nobody thought a Democrat could win there, and some people don't think a Democrat can win here. But voters turned out in New York, and you can bet after the underhanded dealing we have seen in Madison and now in Washington, D.C., that Wisconsin voters are going to turn out, and these are the reasons, my friends, we are going to defeat Paul Ryan in 2012. Paul Ryan says he doesn't care if he loses his congressional seat because of his plan to end Medicare. You know what? That's fine with me. We have a great opportunity to get rid of the old school, bait and switch, partisan politics that Ryan represents. Serve up special interests in Washington, D.C., and then pit one group of Americans against another, claiming that it's in the national interest. That's not leadership, and there's nothing courageous about it. It's called politics as usual, and it's just plain wrong. If you elect me to Congress, I will be a voice for Wisconsin, someone who just happens to work in Washington. Not a Washington voice who just happens to sometimes live in Wisconsin. I am Rob Zerban. I am running for the U.S. Congress, and I would be honored to have your support. Thank you.